Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. Episode 3 of Monstrosity starts right now. So, in the first 2 episodes, I managed to read 11 books. So, in this episode, I'm going to shoot for 5 more. If I draw something weird, like a 3 or whatever, at the end, then I'll read more than 5. But we're going to hope that that's not what happens. So, I'm shuffling like I do because I can't help it. And number 1 is, a 6. That's 2 books. Okay, so a 6 means do 3 and 3. So I'm going to read the 3rd prompt and then the 6th prompt. So from here, we have 1, 2, 3, less than 500 pages, and 1, 2, 3, a reread. I think there's 1 reread on this whole entire thing. So I guess I know what that's going to be. And then I think there's only, this is it, Ascendant right here is the only book I've read. So I'm going to be rereading that. So let me go ahead and get this over here for my reread. Okay, and, whoa, no, I need my sunshine. Okay, is less than 500 pages. So many of these are less than 500 pages. I might just randomly pick one. Or I could just decide to do this Dwellings right here. And since I'm also going to be reading Ascendant, I'll be completely finished with my NetGalley TBR. So I think I might do that. Because then I also don't have to worry about Dwellings leaving NetGalley quickly like the other ones did. And Dwellings is gone as well. Now I'm concerned, do I even have Ascendants on here? Okay, so I do have Ascendant. I do not have Dwellings. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to finish it even without doing that. So maybe I just go right here to Dear Mrs. Bird, and I'm pretty sure it's under 500. Let me go look. Yeah, 281 pages, it says. So I'm just going to do that one. It is weird that I think like on this whole board, the less than 500 pages has been on, I think it's on 2 prompts. Wait, that says more than, doesn't it? Y'all. That says greater than 500 pages. I was like, wait, this one also says less than 500. There's 2 less than, and I think there's 2 greater than. That means it has to be more than 500. Okay. Well, I couldn't have read the other book anyway. So now I need to do a little bit of searching. I know that Nosferatu is more than 500. I want to see if Jade City is more than 500. I don't know that any of the rest of them would be over 500 pages. Maybe the Storm King? Maybe Age of Myth? Let me just go look. Okay, so since I had to look up every book to see what was over 500, I decided to also make a category of under 200 pages. That's just, I don't think I have a thing that says that. That's just for me. If I know that I want a really quick read that I can get done fast, I'll pick one of those books. But I have 3 books on this list that are over 500. I've got Nosferatu, Harrow the Ninth, and Jade City. And I'm actually so excited about all of them. Here's the deal. I think I'm probably not going to do Jade City. Only because it's a big fantasy, and Ascendant is also a fantasy, and Nosferatu has been on my list for so long that I feel like right here at the beginning of this episode, I just need to kick it off with Nosferatu. So let's put it right here in our over 500 page spot. Put our sunshine over the top of it, and I will be back to check in after I have read this, or at least part of it. Okay, I finished Nosferatu. So I get to move my son down here to Ascendant, and this one is not going to take very long. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my next card just so I know where I am. So Nosferatu, when you see Nos4A2 written on the cover, at least when I see it, the first thing I think is, oh, this is going to be about vampires. And I guess kind of in a way it was, but also it wasn't. I thought that it was really good. I don't know that I liked it more than the Fireman. I kind of like the Fireman more, but this one was really good. All right, I'm going to shuffle one more time, and then we're going to draw the top card. Ascendant, I've already read, and I know it's about a boy who works. His dad is the head cook at this place, and he is going to apprentice with his dad, but he wants to become a writer, like a dragon rider, and they send him out to help one of the dragon riders, and he lets him see a sorting where the dragons decide about the eggs, the unhatched dragons, and one of the eggs is rejected, and he gave the boy the job of disposing of the egg, and the boy didn't do it. Instead, he kept the egg and it hatched and stuff happens. So, and I don't want to give anything else away. Here we go. Oh, a 7. I just get to move 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last letter, first letter. And the last letter of Ascendant starts with a T, which is so nice. I have a lot of T's. We have The Thorn Remains. Oh, this was our pact. Needs to go away. I'll move everything in a minute. We have The Thorn Remains, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm not going to count the, though. Things in Jars. Okay, so that's it. We have The Thorn Remains and Things in Jars. And I think I'm going to go with The Thorn Remains, keeping with my theme of reading the oldest TBR books first. I will scoot all of this down. There we go. And then I'll take out Ascendant when I finish reading it. But that means next up is The Thorn Remains. I've been excited about this one since it came up on the readathon or not the readathon, but the rolling TBR that Allison did for me. So there we go. Oh my gosh, I covered it up the whole time. But that's where we are. We took this portal and we went from the yellow up here to the gray. So we are now officially on the gray, making our way around. And then we'll go all the way around the gray and do all the way around the pink. And then when we get to the blue, no, not even all the way around the pink, partly around the pink. Wow. Okay, this is looking better and better. I shouldn't say that. Then I'll draw like a million 4s in a row, which I did not mean to put that out there into the world. That's not what's going to happen. I'll be back here when I have finished Ascendant and check in, and then I'll read The Thorn Remains. But I wanted to go ahead and pick it just in case I finish Ascendant tonight. I can go ahead and read the next one. Oh, what I didn't tell you, Nosferatu is about people who can transport themselves to another version of our world, like an in-world kind of situation, I guess. And I just thought it was really cool. There's a Christmas town that is there where children are taken, and the children think that they're having a really grand time, but in order to get the children, the guy, I'm not going to tell you his name, has to do stuff with their parents in order to get the children. So not great. And our main character we get to see her from when she's a little kid to when she's an adult and she has a little kid. So I really, really liked it a lot. I do think maybe I liked it more than Fireman. They're right there together with how much I liked them, but it was really good. I loved the ending. It's not the ending of the book, but in the end of the book, the author's note, Joe Hill does the audio on his own on the audiobook, and I loved it. That's always my favorite part anyway, to listen to how they kind of came up with the idea and where everything came from. So I love that part. Anyway, I'll check back in when I've read some more. Okay, wow. I just realized that the top of my head was being cut off. Okay, that's better. I am almost finished with this book, and I'm probably going to finish it tonight in the bed. The Thorns Remain. I do not love it. I do not love it. So I'm having to force myself to read it, and we're almost on day 3 of me reading this book, and I refuse to be reading this book for one more day. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle and choose our next card and see where we get to go. Okay, one more shuffle. Here we go. Flipping it over, and it is, a 10. I think that's 5 and 5. Let me look. Yes, so 2 books, but we get to move 10 spaces. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most popular. So that means the one that has the most reviews, not the highest reviews, the most. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 YouTube TBR book. So that means that it can't be a NetGalley book, and it can't be like my buzzword, Aeldia. It needs to be from one of my YouTube TBR games, a book from one of those. So I'm going to just count those books and do a random number, and that's what I'm going to read. So it's just the books in 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 on here. So I'm going to count those, and then I'm going to randomly pick a number. Okay, so there's 19 of them. And of course, my only 2 500-page books, or over 500, are in this list. How many did I say? I'm going to have to count them again. Okay, 19. I thought I said 19, but I started questioning. Pick a number 1 to 19.
It's 11.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hey, less than 200 pages is fantastic. Okay, that one was easier for me to find just because it was already on my list. I'm going to have to go search Goodreads to find the most popular one right here, but I'm going to go do that now. Okay, I really don't think I need to go further than this. This has 1.8 million ratings. I just don't feel like any of these books are going to have more than 1.8 million. So I'm going to read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's going to be next. Okay, so technically I'm still over here on this book, but when I finish, I at least know the next 2 books, and I'm way over on the end of the top row. So I'm excited about both of those. I think Cold Comforts I might not have on audio, so I might need to find that on Kindle and maybe actually start reading it while I'm listening to the other 2 so that I'm not stuck with nothing to listen to and only something to read. But that doesn't matter. It won't matter for you guys. I'll just tell you what I thought about it when I get there. Okay, I'll just be back to check in. I got distracted looking up where to find these books. I will be back later. Okay, I finished The Thorns Remain, and I'm moving on to The Hitchhiker's Guide. And that is the best thing that I can say about The Thorns Remain. This is probably the book that I have liked the least that I have read this whole year, because normally if I dislike a book as much as I dislike this book, I just quit reading it. And for whatever reason, this time I was like, I'm going to finish this book. And I was kind of hoping, I guess, that there would be redeeming qualities by the end of the book, and it was not. And it was one of those situations. First of all, it almost felt like the author researched every fae creature that had been written about and was like, let me put them all in this book in one way or another. And so we have all of the magical fae creatures. I liked the little village aspect of it. That might honestly be the only thing that I liked about it. The characters did not stand out to me other than our main character's mom. Like, she's the only one that I liked. She's the only one I rooted for consistently from the beginning to the end. Our main character was not it. No, I did not like her at all. And her friends were not really friends. They were just the other people in the book. Like, we didn't get to know much about them other than this is set just after World War I in Scotland. And so there are some of them who went to war. There are some of them who died in war, like from this village. And there are some of them who died after the war from the Spanish flu. So the flu is everywhere. And anyway, that's the setting that where it takes place and when it takes place in. No, I just did not like anything about it, but I'm so glad it's done. And I get to move on to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I'm hoping that I'm going to like that more. I did have to get Cold Comfort on my Kindle, which I have it pulled up on my Kindle, and it's like 10 or 12 short stories. So they must be pretty short. Anyway, I'm going to try to read them when I take a break from The Hitchhiker's Guide. So I may end up finishing both books at about the same time, but I don't want to be stuck reading Cold Comforts before, like, tonight when I'm going up to bed. I really want to do an audiobook. So maybe I'll stop back by and pick another card. I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, for right now, I'm going to be starting The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's way shorter than I thought it would be, so I'm sure it won't take very long to read. I just don't have a lot of reading time today, so we'll have to see. All right. Yeah, it's bedtime. This is how I look at bedtime. I am going to probably finish The Hitchhiker's Guide either tonight or in the morning when I read. And the problem with Cold Comforts is that it is a bunch of short stories and they're about 10 pages long. So I can finish them like tomorrow when I'm hanging out around the house in different times tomorrow. But I can't read them tonight because I need audiobooks in the bed. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my next card. We're going to pretend like our sunshine is right here on Cold Comforts. And I'm going to shuffle one more time. And here we go. It's an 8. Okay, this has a little special thing that we get to do, which is awesome. So with an 8, we're going to move 8 spaces, and then we slide forward 2, and I get to choose the prompt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a storygraph challenge, or I slide forward to a Jenga book. Okay, these are the oldest storygraph books that have been on here. So I think I want to go with a storygraph, although I could get a little bit closer to being done if I went to the Jenga books. But I'm going to go to the storygraph, and I'm going to read this one, Strange Love. It's on Audible Plus. It is a sci-fi, maybe romance. I don't know. Anyway, I've been really wanting to get to it. So I'm going to put that one on there. Okay, let me move it backwards so my sunshine is again on top. And I will, of course, leave my sunshine up here where it actually is. But now at least I know what book is coming up next so that when I finish, I can read that one. But I'm not going to finish Strange Love until I finish Cold Comforts. So I'll work on it tomorrow. I just need an audiobook for tonight. So I forgot to tell you guys this. So remember I read way back here in, maybe this was episode 1 or 2, where I read the Nothing Special Volume 1 that I had on NetGalley. I ordered the physical copy of it and it just came in. Look how big it is. I told y'all it was a thick graphic novel. But it's so good, and I love that I have it in my hands. I have pre-ordered Volume 2. That will be coming out. And one that I haven't read yet, it came in, The Destroyer by Victor Laval. So this one I'm reading for one of my Aeldia books for this month. So I will definitely be getting to that, but that's also on my list over here, right here, less than 200 pages. So I will be trying to pick it up as well. But anyway, here we are with what we have going on right now, and I'll try to get those on there as I can. I just wanted to show them to you since I talked about them in previous videos, and I'm excited that I have them. It always makes me so happy when I know it's time to draw another card. Okay, let me talk about and move my sun. I have not moved my sunshine. So let me talk about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is weird and absurd, and if you can make it past like the first 20% of it, it gets so much better. But the very beginning is just so weird, and so like the humor in it is that logical kind of humor where the argument is like, well, you were going to do this anyway, so I'm going to move out of your way, but I need you to continue to stand here and do nothing, because if I stayed here, you would stand here and do nothing. So that kind of logic. And it's like, let's just agree that you would stand here if I didn't move. Okay, yes, I would. Okay, well, I'm going to move and I need you to still stand here. Like that kind of argument and that kind of logic. And anyway, if you can make it past that, then it gets much better. I liked it. So, Cold Comforts, I'm technically still reading. I have read 5 of the stories so far. I read 3 today and 2 yesterday. They are so good and so incredibly creepy. I think so far still the very first story is my favorite, but I mean just the twists on things that I think, like I understand it and I'm like, oh, so the first story is the point of view of a tree. And so at the beginning I saw kind of where it was heading and I was like, oh, I get it. And then I was like, oh, no, I don't. The tree just did not act like I expected the tree to act, which is a weird thing to say, but that's what it was. And the rest of them are just that same level of like a little bit creepy and a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe that's why it's called Cold Comforts, because it's not comforting at all. And then Strange Love. I need to look at something first on that. Okay, so this book was published in January of 2020, it says. And I was just wondering, like, when all of those alien romances came out, because that's exactly what this is. So I don't know when they all started. Like, I know Honey Phillips writes a bunch of alien romances. I don't know who started it, or when they started. I want to say it was sometime around 2020. Anyway, that's exactly what this one is. an Earth girl accidentally got kidnapped by an alien, and they're having to participate in the mating competition on his home planet. Anyway, let's see what's next. Oh, another 12. What? Okay, so a 12 is 6 and 6, and that's going to be the last 2 books of this episode. And oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an after hours book, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a Goose TBR book. So fantastic. Let's go look at the after hour books and pick one. Okay, so here is our after hours TBR. Let's see what we're going to get. Pick a number 1 to 10.
The answer is 8.
Okay, that is Winter House by Ben Gutterson. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm reading. Okay, I'm very excited about this. I've been wanting to read a middle grade for a little bit just to give me like a rest. And it's going to be great. Okay, then we'll worry about the Goose TBR once I finish Winter House. So first I have to finish Strange Love, which I'm almost done with. And then I will start Winter House by Ben Gutterson. I don't know how you say his last name. I will figure that out. Okay, I'll check back in later. Okay, so I finished Winter House last night. And what also I didn't do, and I didn't film it, or what I didn't tell you about, and I didn't film it, was where I am right now. So let me talk about Winter House, and then I'll talk about the next step of my drawing the 12. So this book is about a girl who is living with her aunt and uncle. They don't really like her. They don't really get along. She's like 11 or 12. And they get a vacation, and they send her to this place called Winter House. It's a hotel while they're gone on vacation. And they randomly just received this vacation and the payment for her to go to this hotel. And they were like, okay, let's do that. And without even like questioning anything, they were like, we finally get to go on a vacation. Let's go. So they did. And anyway, things happened. And she finds out how she's connected to the Winter House Hotel and what may be going on there. It's got magic in it because it's a fantasy middle grade. It's just really good. I really enjoyed it. I didn't look to see if there was another one in the series, but I'm going to do that real quick on Storygraph and add the second book. I also learned that it is Winter House number 1, and his name is Ben Gutterson. So The Secrets of Winter House is number 2. Okay, I'm going to change that one to red, and I'm going to change that one to want to read. And there is a third book that came out in 2019. So great. Okay, thus bringing us to where we are right now. I landed on Goose TBR, and it's called Game of Goose. And it's a board game in my box of board games. And it was really late last night and everybody was still awake. And I didn't want to get everything out and film it. So what I did was I rolled my dice and I moved around the game board. It has 2 colors. It has purple and blue. I even have my notes right here. So I landed on a blue spot or a purple spot first. 2 purples, then 2 blues, then 1 purple, then 1 blue, and then I was done. So 6 books, as you can see right here. So the first thing I needed was a nonfiction book, and I picked The Murder of King Tut. It's written by James Patterson. So it's listed as a nonfiction mystery, and I was like, that's got to be cool. The second purple prompt I got was a hyped book. So I picked Iron Flame. I've already read, I forgot whatever the first one is called. I don't know why I don't know, but everybody read it and I read it. And so I picked the next one, which is also a hyped book. Okay, then we switched to blue, and it was a book with a map. And I literally had to go Google what books have maps because I don't read physical books. But The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue right here was on the list. And I didn't have this book on my TBR, but I had book 3 in this series on my TBR. I own book 3. But for some reason, I didn't own book 1. So I'm going to be reading that, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and then I'll eventually get to the book I own. Then for another blue prompt, we had a 5-word title, and that is My Roommate is a Vampire. So that's the one that I'm reading right now, and I'll explain why in a second. Then the next one was a purple, and it was a thriller, and I was like, I'm doing it. 11/22/63. It's a huge book, 700 and something pages, but it's been on my TBR for a long time. It's one of the few Stephen Kings that I still haven't read, so I'm going to read it. And then finally, my most recent purchase. So I just purchased some audiobooks on Scribd Nope, not Scribd, on Chirp. So I went and looked them up, and it was these 2 books in this series, A Spindle Splintered, and then I don't know what the next book is, but whatever comes after this in the series, I got both of them. So I added that as my most recent purchase. Then, because the prompt says Game of Goose, I had one of my kids randomly pick a number, and they picked this one. And so I'm reading My Roommate is a Vampire. That's what I'm reading right now. But while we're here, I need to jump on and pull the next card. I have a friend coming to visit, and so we're working on getting the house ready for her to be here for a few days. It's not going to affect anything as far as reading, although maybe I won't be reading as much because I'm going to be hanging out with her, but we'll see how it's going to go. I'll still be reading. Anyway, here we go. Ooh, a wild card. Okay, a wild card. I have to flip the coin. Oh my gosh, did you guys see Django? A dog and a human just walked by our house and he's not having it. Okay, so the first one is flip a coin. And if it's heads, I'm going to be moving forward, but it's tails. So I'm going to be moving backwards. And that is going to be a D6. So here we go. 2. Hey, I'm only moving back 2. That's not so bad. Okay, so I'm right here and I go back 2. And it just needs to be a book set outside the US or the UK. And here's all of our books. So I'm just going to start at the top so that I can read. Oh, you know what? Planetfall might be set outside the United States. I mean, it matters if it's like a fantasy book. That can't be set in the U.S. Okay, I know I'm covering it up, but Planetfall is set on another country. I mean, on another planet that has been colonized by people from Earth. So definitely not set in the UK or the US. That's what I'm going with. I will be back to report on My Roommate is a Vampire when I finish it. Okay, I am finished with Planetfall. That means that is the end of this episode. I counted up last night and I have 20 spaces to get back to the beginning. So next episode might be the last one. And then we get to clear the board. If you guys have any ideas about things that I should add, new things on there that I should do, I want to hear about it. But I'm going to clear the board and I'll probably just do a week where I just read graphic novels or I just read 50 Before 50 books, something like that, just to give me a little break from the challenge thing that I'm doing, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I got the 3rd volume of Lore Olympus, which I still haven't finished the 2nd volume. It's up there on the shelf. I got book 1 of The Sandman, and I have Why the Last Man. I don't know anything about these. I saw them in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, those look really cool. I need to get them. And that's it. That's all I know about any of them. Except Lore Olympus, I have a friend actually who's read them all, and so she was telling me about them. Anyway, so I might just take a week, and I've got my saga. I've got to catch up on also. I just have some on the 50 Before 50 list that I want to get to as well. So that doesn't matter. We still have one more episode, maybe. I'm acting like I'm not going to draw a million 4s and go back around the board or whatever. So anyway, maybe 1 episode, maybe 2. But anyway, then I'll take a break and do some graphic novel stuff. If you want to hear about the graphic novels, let me know. Otherwise, I might just read them on my own and not really talk about them. Or I can come at the end, like when I've finished the whole volume 1, and then I can talk about what I thought about it or whatever. You guys let me know what you want me to do. I know some people don't read them at all, and so you don't care at all, but if enough of you care, then I can do that. So anyway, I guess I'm not going to get to draw my next card yet. I'm going to have to start the next episode so that I can draw my next card. That is going to do it for this one, and I will see you guys in my next video. Oh my gosh, wait, I didn't tell you about Planetfall. It's way weirder than I thought it would be. And our main character, it's a 1 POV, and they are on a new planet because somebody got a vision that they needed to go to this new planet. And our main character was in love with this woman. And so she was like, okay, let's go. And so she went along with all the other scientists. She's a scientist. She's some kind of engineer that can print things. This is definitely in the future. They're printing body parts. When people get cancer, they're just giving them a new one that's not cancer that they printed, and all kinds of stuff is happening like that. So they go to this new planet, and something bad has happened, and now we're in the present where they've been there for 20 years on this new planet. And I'm not going to tell you what's happened, but something bad happened when they got there, and they have been perpetuating, some of the people have been perpetuating a lie that they've been trying to convince the rest of the group about. And things happened when a mystery person shows up out of the blue to their little village that they've made on this other planet. Anyway, it was good, but it was also like not at all what I was expecting from well, I didn't even read the synopsis of it. I just knew that it was sci-fi and it was set in another planet. That's what I had to find out before I could read it for this prompt. That's all I knew. Now I'm going to go, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.